Guys, welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. Today, I'm going to be talking about Newcastle United. As we know, Newcastle have recently had a massive takeover. They're going to have money to spend when it comes to January and going into the future. And of course, to be honest, I'm quite happy for Newcastle fans. I've waited long enough for this. And it's going to be an exciting time for them. And I think even as a neutral to kind of watch along, see what they're going to be able to spend. And seeing where that club can go. Obviously, a massive club in the northeast of England, massive fan base, and it's going to be, they've had a drab time over the last 15 years with Mike Ashley. So today we're going to be talking about some of the transfer rumours that are coming up. And, before we jump into it, guys, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel, as always. Right, guys, I'm going to bring it up. I have got a nice little presentation. Guys, before I jump into the first player, as you can see, I'm going to be talking about Tyrese Campbell. I've got about 7 players that I'm going to talk about that have been in the news recently with Newcastle and being linked to the club. And I'm sure these links and different players are going to keep emerging. So I'm going to talk about the player. And as you can see at the bottom, good deal, bad deal, and will it happen? Basically, those 3 points below. I'm gonna talk about whether it's good for the club, whether it's good for the player, and then finally whether I think the deal has a chance of happening or not. So yeah, firstly, let's dive straight into it then. Tyrese Campbell, 21-year-old striker, currently playing for Stoke City, who are doing very well in the Championship actually. And the rumoured fee that has been brought up at the moment is around a £20 million mark. Now, it's an interesting one when looking at Tyrese Campbell. He's spent a year, he's just come back from a year-long injury, which was a knee injury, which kept him out for quite a while. But he's an exceptional young talent. And since coming back, he has bagged 2 goals in 8 games. Funny enough, he actually scoring on his debut coming back, he did actually do a knee slide. So clearly he is not too concerned about that injury now. Going into whether this would be a good deal or not, I mean, for the club, I've gone for yes. I think it will be a good deal for the club. I think to bring in an exceptional young striker, obviously Newcastle have been struggling for goals this season, and I definitely think he'll help out with that. Of course, untested in the Premier League, but when you look at players such as Ollie Watkins that have come from the Championship and done so well, I really feel that he's got the attributes as well to succeed in the Premier League. Of course, as well, it will be a good deal for the player, getting that Premier League opportunity and to step into a team that actually needs a striker as well. I believe that he would get the game time and a chance to prove himself with Newcastle United. And finally, the chance of it happening. So, as you can see there, I've gone for a 75% chance of this happening. I really do think there's a good chance. I feel Newcastle will be looking for a striker. And I think it's an obvious one that they may just dive into that Championship to get Tyrese Campbell. Moving on to next is James Tarkowski. Obviously, a proven Premier League defender, 29 years of age. And the main thing for him is he's out of contract at the end of the season. I actually fancy Newcastle if they went for him to act before that. Of course, Burnley, we know they don't like to spend a lot of money and perhaps don't have the riches such as other clubs like Newcastle United do have when it comes to the Premier League. So I feel that he could be available at a real bargain price of 10 to 15 million, which has been touted. I feel if Burnley could get themselves some money for him, they may do, especially if they've got a backup lined up. But the only thing that could maybe scupper the deal would be the fact that, of course, Burnley, if they are struggling near the bottom end of the table, they may want to keep him to try and preserve the Premier League status and let him go on a free, as it would be much more costly than 10 to 15 million if Burnley were relegated. Again, I feel this would be a great move for Newcastle. Obviously, been conceding quite a few goals, and I think that's definitely an area where they need to shore up at the back. And a proven Premier League centre-back in James Tarkowski, who has previously been linked before in the past for an amount of 40, 50 million to other clubs not too long ago. And I believe there was even a link to Chelsea a couple of years ago. For the player, again, I think it would be a good move. I think it'd be an interesting move for James Tarkowski, who's spent quite a few years now at Burnley. And I think it'd be part of an interesting thing for him to go and join the Newcastle revolution that's going to start to happen. And then, yeah, moving on to will it happen? Again, slightly higher this one. I've gone for an 80% chance. I really do believe this has got a good chance of happening, and not just in general, but in that January transfer window. I think Newcastle will be looking to strengthen up the defensive areas, and potentially getting a centre back will be a priority. Next one, I've got to float this one around. This one has been doing the rounds. Obviously, Ousmane Dembele. Believe he is actually out of contract as well at the end of the year. Now, this is almost the Robinho player, isn't it? Of course, when Man City had their takeover many moons ago now, actually, they made that statement signing of Robinho. I mean, what can you say about Ousmane Dembele? I mean, he's had pretty plagued time with injuries when it comes to his career at Barcelona, of course. Moving from there for, I think it was around £100 million fee at the time. It might have even been more from Borussia Dortmund, when he was such a young talent, still only 24 years of age. But he has done his hamstrings, and he does keep on pricking up injuries. Since his career at Barcelona started, he has had 3 times where he's been out for more than 100 days with an injury. So that just shows how much of a torrid time he has had at Barcelona. Look, it would be a statement signing, but I'm not too sure on this whether it would be a great deal for Newcastle United. Apparently, he's recently just turned down a contract offer from Barcelona to keep him, reportedly for £9.5 million a year. So you're looking in the region of, I did work this out, about £180,000 a week for him. Not to say he wouldn't move elsewhere for less. Maybe he just wants to move on from Barcelona, but it's one of them. I don't know how much it would disrupt the players, and obviously disrupt the payment system at Newcastle have got going on. And if he was a player that came in, didn't live up to his potential, and also kept picking up injuries, it would be one of those where you'd be a little bit concerned about what that would do for the dressing room atmosphere, as well as it being a waste of money. But of course, at the same time for Newcastle, it would be that statement signing. It would let people know that they are on the map. And who knows, a big name signing like that could tempt other players to start joining the Newcastle revolution. I have to say, I don't think it'd be a great deal for Dembele either. I feel that, it'd be a bit one of those where maybe it would be a bit of a money move more than anything. I still feel that he's got a lot of talent to give, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was getting offers from the likes of Manchester United, who he has actually been linked with, and other massive clubs. And, even if he's noticed of wages, he could perhaps get paid more wages somewhere else. Will it happen? I don't think it will. I think it's one of those that's there to create a headline. I've given it a 10% chance of happening, but who knows? No one would have predicted Robinho to Manchester City many moons ago. Moving on to our next one, Sven Botman, previously linked with Wolves, the club I support in the summer. Great young talent, obviously 21 years of age, won the league last season with Lille. And Lille have recently started looking to qualify for the Champions League knockout stages. And the expected transfer fee for this would be a hefty 40 million. But when when you are looking at his age, you could see that could be a possible really good sell on, even if Newcastle couldn't keep him for the longer term. So that's a really interesting one to watch out for. Do I think that it would be a good deal for the club? Absolutely. Newcastle need to bring in a centre-back, and I really do feel that Sven Botman, someone of his quality, would be an absolutely unreal signing for the club. I also think that it would be a good move for the player. He spoke about playing in the Premier League before. And at the moment, no one's sniffing around him, such as the really high-up clubs, the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United. Not to say that couldn't come at a late, and obviously Man City, not to say that couldn't come at a later date. But, you look at all those top clubs, and they are perhaps, already quite suited on that centre-back position. Manchester United would maybe be the one that could potentially come in for him if they wanted to. But will it happen? I'm not too sure on this one. It would be a massive, massive coup if Newcastle United pulled this one off. And so I've given it around a 40% chance of happening. The only thing that does go in Newcastle's favour is, of course, that Lille at the moment do have financial fair play difficulties. So might be able to sell, and it could be less than that 40 million that I have spoke about. Moving on next, of course, Jesse Lingard, previously, you know, had a great loan spell at West Ham, and since then, you know, has returned to Manchester United, has been struggling for game time, and now, especially now, obviously, Ollie has departed, that game time could get even less. Less than 12 months on his current deal. The deal coming to an end at the end of the summer. Position attacking mid, obviously, and maybe in that 10 to 15 million pound region if Newcastle wanted to get him, given the amount of time left on his contract. And I think this would be an absolutely brilliant deal for, you know, both the club and the player, to be honest. I really do. I feel that, you know, the other links that are going to come through are probably West Ham. But of course, West Ham look very good in that attacking mid position now. So it wouldn't surprise me if Newcastle was probably a more suited club for him. And, you know, when looking at his goal scoring record at West Ham last season, something Newcastle really do need to add at the moment is goals. And I feel like Jesse Lingard could provide that. Chances of it happening, I've gone for 85%. I actually think this is really high. I do fancy him to move on in January, and I do think Newcastle is probably the prime club to get that transfer completed. Moving on to another attacking mid that has been spoken about, and maybe this is one that Newcastle would look to go in for if they couldn't get Jesse Lingard in January. Ross Barkley, another attacking midfielder, current club Chelsea, and again apparently around about that 15 million pound fee he'd be available for. Unlike Jesse Lingard, he still does have another year left on his contract, so still has 18 months left on his deal. I don't think this would be a great move for Newcastle United. I much prefer, if I was a Newcastle fan, to go and get Jesse Lingard. I think he would, you know, he'd add a lot more goals and assists. I think although Bartley didn't have a terrible time at Aston Villa last year, he did only record the 3 goals, I believe it was. 3 goals and 1 assist in 26 games. And he's gone back to Chelsea and he's not playing yet again. For the player, though, I think it would be a fantastic deal. He really needs to get his career back on track. It's really fell off since moving to Chelsea, hasn't it, really? Obviously, completed that transfer from Everton many moons ago at a discounted rate from, you know, and the way he played his boyhood club left quite a sour taste with them as well. Will it happen? I don't see this one happening. I've given it a 30% chance because although I don't see it happening on a, you know, on a permanent move, if they can't get someone like Jesse Lingard in January, maybe they would add a Ross Barkley in on a loan deal until the end of the season. But as far as the permanent move goes, I can't see this one happening. Fitness is the final player. Of course, Lloyd Kelly, age 23, a great centre-back prominently from Bournemouth, who are having an absolutely unreal season at the moment. Expected transfer fee would be around 15 million, but I have noted there that he can play left back. Obviously, left back at the moment is a position where Newcastle United are really struggling, having to play Richie there for the majority of the season so far. And it's definitely an area defensively that they could do with improving on. So could it be good for the club? I've gone maybe. I think from the player himself, I think it would be a really good deal. Obviously, you know, having worked under Eddie Howe as well, he seems to be a player that Eddie Howe really rates. But Bournemouth are flying high in the Championship. They look to be probably going up next season, back to the Premier League. And you do wonder, are Bournemouth in a position where they really need to sell? And could that command a higher transfer fee? For the player himself, I think it'd be a good deal to go back and play with Eddie Howe. Of course, get, you know, Premier League football. And of course, he would slot into that first team picture. And will it happen? 55% on this one, because I think Newcastle will be in the market for a left back. And I think it'll be one of them. It'll be interesting to see if they go in the market and for perhaps a Championship player like Lloyd Kelly to, you know, obviously strengthen on that left side. So, guys, that is the presentation done. Guys, if you know, let me know your thoughts. So if I've got anything completely wrong there, I've said, you know, let me know. Would you like Dembele? I'm sure Newcastle fans would, but would it be the right move long term for the club? And, you know, just let me know any other rumours that you've perhaps heard or any of these players that you would look to sign. Also, make sure to hit that like button once again, and also help us out and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully we shall see you on the next video. Goodbye.